Good time of day, guys. My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.8 Matsuribayashi. Last episode, we continued connecting these fragments and stufferoonies. Oh boy, I forgot I have a list to try and keep track of all these. There it is. It's been a week since last episode, so I kind of need to get back into the swing of this. Where's my pen? We read a good amount of fragments, not a shit ton. I think we only got through like 4 or 5 or something, but yeah, this is gonna take a long time, a very long time. Where's my pen? My trusty purple pen. Is it actually in this drawer? I should have prepared this beforehand, but I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know where it is, but I'll just grab a different pen. We'll go with the fucking orange one. Sure. No, that actually ain't gonna show up at all. We'll go with blue. So, yeah, we completed more fragments. It's been a week since last episode, which also means there's been a new episode of Sotsu, which means it's time to talk about it, but this really won't be long at all. I don't have much to say about last episode, so yeah, since we're in a kind of awkward spot, I suppose to pull up the menu for spoiler time, I'm just gonna exit out here. So spoiler time will be here until I go back into connecting fragments, okay? I mean, I actually could just make it more simple and pull this up, but nah, we'll just stay here, okay? So, spoiler time will end when I go back into connecting fragments, so yeah, time for spoiler time. If you don't want spoiler time, then close your ears or mute. That won't be long. Hello! It is spoiler time for episode 8 of Sotsu, or part 2 of Tatari Akashi. So, yeah, like I said, I don't really have much to say about this episode, other than the fact that it was pretty good, but it was also kind of painful. Not in that I'm disappointed with anything in it, but in that I didn't expect this stuff to hurt so much. Like, just something about Satoko manipulating Teppei just feels... ouch. It hurts. Because Teppei, now that he's redeemed, is a fucking sweetheart. This dude, you wouldn't think with how fucking much of an asshole he is that he gets redeemed so well and becomes a really good person who actually cares about his niece and isn't a fucking piece of shit anymore. Which is awesome. But Satoko's manipulating him. Which is basically just like, oh, the fucking irony with the tables turning. It hurts. It fucking hurts. I suppose, though, I feel like what she's doing is trying to make Teppei suspicious of the whole village and give him Hinamizawa syndrome. Naturally, I guess she's just trying to do that without injecting him, because maybe she's afraid of what injecting him would do. Or maybe she's gonna inject him afterwards to boost up the symptoms and make him target Rika. I don't know. Obviously, that seems to not be how it ends. She eventually injects Oishi at some point, which it's gonna be interesting to see how exactly that happens. But yeah, I suppose my biggest critique about this arc so far is that it's showing us way too much of what we already saw happen in Tatari Damashi. We didn't really need to see the whole classroom argument. Like, how are we gonna save Satoko when she's, like, not even there, or she just left? Like, that's what's concerning to me, that they're still gonna show us, like, all the fucking scenes at the Child Consultation Center when we don't need them. We know they happened, and it all happens basically the same exact way that it happens in Minagoroshi, so we especially don't need it, you know? So, yeah. That would be all I wanted to say. If that last scene where Aowa was just laughing at Satoko's, sorry about my throat, Satoko's supposedly fake breakdown, if Aowa didn't input anything there, that would be all I have to say about this episode already. But, like, even if it was just Aowa laughing, and I say supposedly fake breakdown because of something, Aowa said. She said that Satoko's become a witch. which would not be a line that holds that much weight if it weren't for the fact that I'm gonna get into Umineko spoilers for a minute. So, please mute if you don't want spoilers about Umineko now. If Lambda Delta was... I remember she was originally supposed to represent Takano, like with the whole 34 thing and stuff like that. But she's always seemed more like a parallel to Satoko anyways. So, Aya was saying that Satoko's become a witch holds a lot more weight than it did when Rika was saying that she's become a witch. So, yeah, I'm really just expecting... I don't know if this will happen this arc or next arc, but I feel like we're gonna go further into Umineko than I thought this story would originally do. I thought it would just end showing, like, I don't know, a little glimmer, just being like, and so, this is Vegas shit for the anime onlys, but people who have watched, or, sorry, read Umineko know exactly what the fuck this is. Satoko and Rika just, like, I don't know, they look at each other, and then they just flash as Lambda Delta and Burn Castle on screen, the end, or something, I don't fucking know. But I feel like we're gonna get a lot more Umineko stuff than was expected, so I'm a little scared to see how that's going to be handled, but I'm excited as well, so yeah, that's really all I have to say about the episode, so let's end spoiler time. Welcome back! Like I said, that wasn't terribly long. That was like 2 or 3, maybe 4 minutes. Yeah, it's time to fucking read. So, the last fragment I did was this one, Rika Furude. And I do not believe I can do any of these. Game board must be set up, sure, yeah. Okay, so yeah, we have to go back to the beginning, because we can't do any of those. Satoko Hojo's detailed test result is most definitely something I don't have. Do we have Irie's decision? No. We had his reminiscence, and then we got his motive to become a doctor. We do not have his decision. Nothing about a dissection plan, but we do have his motive to become a doctor, so we're getting close there. We don't have that. Oh, a red capsule. Okay, that's probably the one for that. Yeah, a red cap. No shit, it's the same fucking wording. No, 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 no. So nothing on page 1 still. No, 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 no. We should be able to do this one, right? Because, the Hojo siblings had Satoshi not allowed to visit Satoko, and his sense of responsibility was in, well, the one titled Satoshi Hojo. So we should be able to do this one. Clicky. Fuck! God damn it. Okay, so the Hojo siblings was Satoko's hospitalization then, I guess. So scribble that out. And we gotta reload. Alright, so we can't do the Shirakawa Park yet. That's a shame. Just gonna write number 10 with a parenthesis ahead of time. So we can't do an accident at Shirakawa Park yet. No, no. No, 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 no. Nothing here still. We don't have the bottle of wine. We do have the shopping trip, I believe. Rock candy, part-time job, awareness of sins, Ryugu family's move, we should be able to do this, right? Come on. Okay, so number 10, Mion Sonozaki. Alright, housekeeper. Mion-san! Your friend is here! I don't know if this is a man or a woman, but whatever. I heard the housekeeper's voice. Our house and the front yard are huge, so unlike normal houses, ringing a doorbell or yelling my name repeatedly, asking to play won't work. I'm assuming that's how that was supposed to be read. Okay, thank you. Who is it? Rika Furude-chama. Oh, finally. Can you tell Granny that Rika-chama is here? I think she's on the porch. I'll get the watermelon. Watermelon? Granny received many beautiful watermelons from somebody, so she wanted to share. I just called the Furude house a short time ago, and Rika-chan is here to pick one up. Did she come on her bicycle? I can't remember if it has a big enough basket. I pulled the watermelon from the well while thinking about that. The cold water in the well has refrigerated the watermelon, and the condensation makes it look delicious. Are you supposed to refrigerate actual watermelons? Like, I don't eat watermelon, but my brother is a huge fucking fanatic of watermelons. He never puts them in the fridge until he, like, cuts it up and puts it in a huge Tupperware container, and then shoves it in the fridge, and then eats it in one sitting anyway, so I don't know what the point of that is, dude. Just cut it up when you want it, but he never puts the melon itself in the fridge. He leaves it on the counter and, like, cuts it up, like, within a day of getting it because he likes watermelon that much. I don't know. And you don't see him ever refrigerated either at, grocery stores. Like, you go to Walmart and there's just like 100 of them in a big fucking cardboard box. So, yeah. The 3 members of the Furude family will enjoy it for at least 2 nights. Unless you eat the whole fucking thing.
Meep? Am I supposed to take it home? I thought...
What? Didn't your dad tell you? The priest answered the phone and I thought I told him to come pick it up. Maybe I wasn't clear enough, or maybe he misunderstood me completely. But she's here to eat the watermelon, not to take it home. Besides, the small basket on Rika-chan's bicycle won't hold the watermelon, and it's too dangerous for her to ride while holding it in her hands. Mion, why don't you help Rika-chama take the watermelon? There's no way she can ride her bicycle while carrying it.
Meep. I can hold the watermelon.
No, that's too dangerous. If something happened to you, I wouldn't know what to say to Oyashiro-sama. Mion will help you. Okay, I will. I'll go say hello to the priest, too. Okay. No matter whether she rides or pushes her bicycle, Rika-chan's hands will be occupied. So I'm going to carry the watermelon. The sky is turning auburn in the sunset. The cool breeze feels good on my sandaled feet. The plastic bag I'm carrying contains the watermelon and also some small bags of rock candy. Rock candy! So that's what this one's gonna be. If her mother finds them, she'll take them away. So we decided to eat them before we got to her home. We opened the bags and enjoyed the rock candy. Rika-chan isn't an exception. Whenever kids from our neighborhood come to our house for errands, Granny gives them some treats. Actually, that's a pretty common rule here in Hinamizawa. It's funny, but sometimes when parents aren't watching, siblings will fight over who gets to take the circular notice to the next house over. So these bags of rock candy are like tips for them. Of course, she doesn't normally give out this much. Usually it's just a little piece of it. Granny is being extra nice to Rika-chama.
I feel bad getting all this candy.
Don't worry, Granny loves you. You should just thank her and put a big smile on your face. That's all.
Do you get lots of treats?
I used to. But at this age, they don't give me any. If they did, though, I would probably feel I was being treated like a little kid.
Meep. I'm being treated like a child, then.
That's okay. Enjoy it while you can. When you become as old as me, you won't get any, even if you wanted some. As we talked about ordinary things, I noticed Rika-chan seemed a little sad. What's wrong?
Whenever I run errands, I get candy as a treat. But Satoko doesn't get any even if she comes with me.
I can think of so many reasons why. Not only Satoko, but everyone in the Hojo family is being treated poorly in Hinamizawa. And the Sonozaki family are the ones who instigated that. The 2 dam supporters have died in an accident already. But the malice against the Hojo family is still going, so this is happening between the 2nd and 3rd years, huh? It's directed against Satoko and Satoshi, their children, and the aunt and uncle who are taking care of them. The big fight between the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family at the explanatory meeting started all this. But that was the Hojo couple, and it shouldn't have anything to do with the children and their aunt and uncle. But the idea that the Hojo family are traitors evolved on its own. Therefore, anyone bearing the Hojo name is to be treated poorly. The aunt and uncle weren't dam supporters, so over time, the attacks towards them should have stopped. But they're rather odd, and they keep having trouble with their neighbors. They don't follow the community rules, they don't do their community duties, and they spray pesticide while their neighbor's laundry is still hanging outside. They often get into fights with the other villagers. They'd be hated even without the dam. Therefore, the Hojo family continues to be treated poorly. But none of that should have anything to do with Satoko and Satoshi. Satoko and Satoshi are often depressed at school. I tried to leave the conflict between the two families aside, but I wonder how they really feel about that. From their point of view, I'm just another member of the family that keeps harassing them. I don't want any of that at school. That's why I try to be their friend while we're there.
How can we get that to extend outside, too, instead of staying in the school?
That'd be pretty difficult. The Hojo family made enemies of the three families. They were branded as traitors, and that's still considered the truth. It wouldn't mean anything if one person suggested an end to the hostilities just because the events around the dam are history now. On the contrary, that would just put them in the same position. Unfortunately for Satoko and Satoshi, the only thing they can do is wait patiently until the issue withers away. All I can do for them is provide an oasis until that day comes.
So how long do they have to wait?
I don't know. The dam conflict lasted for several years. They were branded back then, so it might take years to clear up, too.
Do you mean they won't be forgiven until they become adults? Will Satoko have to live out her childhood going through that?
That's pretty miserable, isn't it?
Me? We are their friends, aren't we?
Sure. They're my friends. We're all buddies.
Then isn't there something we can do to help our friends?
What exactly can we do? Make the club. Even if the Sonozaki family declares that the dam conflict is over... Wait. Oh, even if the Sonozaki family declares that the dam conflict is over, so the Hojo family are no longer outcasts, that won't solve the problem. It's not that simple. In the first place, Granny hates the Hojo family, and won't suffer their name to be mentioned in her presence. It's not a matter of someone forgiving another. It's a matter of very complicated ties between the people in this village. It's absolutely terrifying to have them as your enemies. Everyone knows that very well, and that's why they maintain good relationships with their neighbors. However, if you make enemies out of them, you'll have to face the consequences. That's the unwritten law of the Japanese community. And the Sonozaki family is a part of this unwritten law. Now that the Hojo family are outcasts, not even the Sonozaki family can overturn the situation.
So even if it's an issue of Hinamizawa, we can't do anything about it as Hinamizawa residents?
Unfortunately, that's probably so, yeah. If there's someone who can help Satoko, that person must be someone who has nothing to do with the village. But there's no one like that here.
Are you saying someone from the outside has to come help her?
Like Rika-chan says, would a knight in shining armor from the outside world ever come here? Would that person bring in a new wind into this village that has been filled with stale air for hundreds of years? No way. That's just wishful thinking. Time will solve the problem someday. Until then, I have to be their ally. I can't think of anything else I can do for them. As Rika-chan and I crunched on our rock candy, we can only pray that people will forgive Satoko and her family sooner rather than later. Rika-chan gently broke the heavy silence.
I know.
Huh?
I know someone who has absolutely nothing to do with the village will come here from the outside.
Oh, she's probably doing her looper voice. That's right. The damn conflict is over. So it'd be great if more people moved into those lots that are for sale. Wouldn't it be fun if a family with a kid our age moved in? He will come. I know. And we'll break this evil practice alongside him. That will be the first key to one of the 3 locks that have us trapped in the past. Eh? What's this? Are you talking about a novel or something? Rika-chan says some odd things sometimes. When she talks that way, she seems so mature. I even start to doubt she's really younger than I am. The unreasonable antagonism towards the Hojo family. Will there really be someone from the outside who will shatter our old traditions? Alright. So that one's definitely rock candy. But there's potential for it to have another one. Oh. The background changed. Is that a bug? That's one of the, like, that's one of the old, backgrounds, isn't it? Or is this intentional? I mean, if it is, then cool. It looks nice, at least. Okay, anything here? Probably fucking not. Yeah, obviously not. Alright, which one had rock candy? Actually, let's go through and see if there's potential for that to be another one. So, she mentioned Keiichi, technically. Tisa on the veranda. Ryugu's family move. Ryugu family's move. Watermelon from the Sonozaki family. Okay, so that's another one. Watermelon. I doubt it can be 3, but it's possible, right? Revenge, changing schools, raw sea urchin and vitamin A, teddy bear, game board, all the other fragments. Detailed test result and decision, research, dissection plan, death, death, help from the queen carrier. How vague is that, though? How vague is help from the queen carrier? Because, like, has Rika... Yeah, Rika has technically helped people, but... feels vague. You know? Yeah, nothing about Rika's fever, bottle of wine, shopping trip, Shinto priest. Yeah, that's where the rock candy is. But we didn't get a detailed test result yet. I'm pretty sure. So, okay, looking through all this, there's nothing that immediately stands out to me that I can do. So clearly I have something wrong. I did already save. So I'm actually going to try this one. Because how vague is help from the queen carrier? No, okay, so we have not gotten help from the queen carrier yet. Maybe then we've gotten, Satoko's test result? That's the only other thing I can think of. Ryugu family definitely has a move, so that doesn't count. We'll try that? No. What? Where am I? Maybe the game board needs to be set up is vague, actually. I wonder. Let's see, then. No, okay, so that's also not vague at all. So I don't know which one I can do, actually. We're kind of in a pickle here. There was something about... Okay, so we don't have Satoko's test results. I don't think we had that, right? Third year curse. What could I have? That's not... No. 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 Oishi hasn't even shown up. I really feel like this is one that we should have, but it's not, because I already tried it. Maybe this one. Maybe? What? How the fuck is that one I can do? Alright, I don't even remember what the name of this one was, and I did not read that, but apparently I can do that. Oh, this is gonna be the death of the dude, right? Okay. Motorcycle command. Shit. Damn it. Shit. Shit. Manager? Manager, come on, say something! Manager. You idiot. He's dead already. Clang. A loud noise snapped everyone out of it. Someone dropped the shovel he was holding. The shovel was smeared with reddish-black blood. So I guess that means, yeah, local explanatory meeting must have also been repetitive apologies. Rep-apo. I don't have space to write repetitive apologies. No, not just the shovel. All 6 construction workers' clothes were blood-soaked, too. One of them cried out to the silent dead body of the manager, which was drenched in blood. Manager. Manager. Oh. Shut up! He's already dead! It was self-defense, right? Self-defense! Huh. The fight had started after the manager yelled at them for drinking beer inside the office. There were no drinking and no smoking signs everywhere. The manager harshly scolded anyone who broke that rule. So it was the 6 workers' fault for disobeying. But they drank because they were stressed out by the anti-dam protesters. That's why they said things to provoke the manager. They told him to step out, and the others went along. The construction workers toiled hard and long hours. That's why they instigated the fight with the manager, to release their stress. They had expected to just curse at each other, or to end up in a wrestling match. But things escalated. Or to put it more accurately, the manager exploded all of a sudden. The manager had to deal with the residents' protests as well, so he was under just as much pressure, or maybe even more. But how he changed was not normal. The manager was calm at first, but he gradually became more aggressive, and it was like he transformed into someone completely different. No, it was like he was possessed by something evil. The men who instigated the fight sobered up when they saw his behavior. Then, the manager picked up a shovel that was nearby and tried to smash his opponent's head in with it. He managed to avoid the hit, but if he didn't, his head would have surely been split open. The manager kept pounding on him with the shovel, even as he frantically tried to avoid the hits. By this time, the workers had realized this was beyond a simple fight, so they tried to hold the manager down. But the manager turned on them with the shovel too. One of the men tried to protect himself by crossing his arms above his head, but there was no way that could have blocked a shovel swung with such force. Blood spurted out, and the man groaned in pain. By this time, the 6 men had realized the manager was not his usual self. This manager would try to bash in their brains without hesitation. Since their opponent was using a shovel as his weapon, they had to find some kind of weapon too. One of them grabbed a huge hammer. Then the others realized they needed to find something as well. To restrain the manager in that condition, it was better to arm themselves. It wasn't supposed to be this way. It didn't take that long for the madness to infect the 6 workers. It was only a matter of time before they went from restraining him to lynching him. By the time they realized what had happened, the manager was already a lump of meat. His face was swollen. Shreds of skin had been torn off, and his muscles and skull were visible too. Obviously, he was quite dead. Fuck! He almost killed us, remember? If he hadn't attacked us, we wouldn't have fought him, right? The leader of the 6, the one who instigated the fight, tried to bring the rest to his side, but nobody replied. And so, the leader became frustrated. He was the one who started the fight. The rest simply joined in. He was the main perpetrator. Maybe that was why he was feeling so exasperated. He sensed that he was the one at fault. So just stand there like a limp noodle! It's too late! We killed him, and there's nothing we can do about it! We're all murderers now! Buck up! You ain't thinking about turning yourself in and doing time, are you? Fuck you! I can't go to the slammer at my age! We're hiding it! We're hiding this corpse and pretending nothing happened! Some of them knew he was on probation for an assault incident once before. So if he got into trouble with the law again, the punishment would be more severe than they could imagine. That was why he was trying desperately to find a way out. If he was alone with the manager's body, then he wouldn't have behaved this way. All he would have to do was to hide the manager's body and pretend nothing happened. But there were 6 of them, including him. They were partners in crime and witnesses too. If even one of them turned himself in out of guilt, he'd be in big trouble. But even if we hide the body, they'll find out sooner or later. Instead, we should plead justifiable self-defense and they might end up pardoning us. Don't be so stupid! Look what we've done! Look at his face! Who would think this is the result of self-defense? His parents wouldn't even be able to identify him in this condition, you idiot! But even if we hide it, everyone's going to find out tomorrow morning when the manager doesn't show. It's hopeless! What's hopeless is your damn brain, you shithead! He slapped the other man in the face. The leader had such an evil look in his eyes. Listen well, dipshits! We're all murderers, okay? Keep griping now and we'll all get slammed with 5 or 6 years. Just one of you here try and blab. We'll all be locked up. Don't underestimate the pen. If you're prepared to be caught anyway, then run like your life depends on it. You can resign yourself to it later when it's time to pay the piper. His visage turned more and more demonic. It was the same expression the manager had just a few minutes before. Was he possessed by the same thing that possessed the manager? The 5 men started to think that way. Now that they considered it, all the villagers in the anti-dam protests had the same expression on their faces, too. The real name of Hinamizawa was Onigafuchi Village. People said that wicked demons lived there, and sometimes they possessed people. The men couldn't help but to recall that exaggerated story often told by the demonstrators. The manager swung the shovel after his expression changed to that demonic one. There was no guarantee this man wouldn't do the same. In fact, he was still squeezing the hammer in his hand, glaring at everyone and threatening them. If someone suggested surrendering, he'd probably smash their head in with it. I know. To make sure nobody betrays the rest, I have an idea. It'll make it easier to hide the body, too! What is it? We're gonna cut up the body into 6 pieces. What? They all wanted to object to the idea. Killing him was a serious crime itself. Dismembering the body would be too much. But if anyone objected, he'd be killed on the spot. So no one said anything. We'll all cut him up together! Remember what the manager used to say? Teamwork! We're all in this, together. We'll each take a body part and hide it responsibly. What do you think, huh? This way we're all equally guilty, right? I won't let anyone give themselves up! No. The 5 men were all taken in by his ghastly face. They could even feel the fear of the Onigafuchi demons creep up their backs. Damn. That one was actually really good. Okay, so what was this one called? That's obviously the death of the foreman / the first year of the tragedy. I didn't expect this one to actually fucking work, but that should have unlocked a fuck ton. A murder with a dismembered body. Okay. A murder with a dismembered body. Okay, so what specifically would it be called? First year of the curse, death of the dude man, Tragedy at the damn construction site and death of the construction site manager. Alright. Tragedy at the site / death of manager. That should be good, right? That would include both, right? So this one is one that we should be able to do now, the second sacrifice. Right? I don't see why not. Is there anything else that would work now, though? Probably not. Yeah, I don't see anything just yet. Fourth year's curse. So we've got a ways to go for that one. Yeah, and then from here on, it's just weird shit. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna save again. I feel like I'm going slow as fuck this episode, so I'm sorry about that, but, you know. Alright, connecting fragments. So the only one I can see that should be able to work is this, the second sacrifice. Yepper-doodah! Alright. The second sacrifice. Okay. Satoshi-kun is a good brother who takes great care of his sister. He went to visit Satoko-chan straight after school and kept encouraging her to get better every day. Without even hearing Satoshi-kun's stories, it's obvious to me that Satoko-chan never had a good relationship with her step-parents. She especially didn't get along with her stepfather. Satoko-chan even called a child abuse hotline once. Not only that, her parents ended up dying in an accident, so she just wasn't able to withstand all that damage. Satoko-chan is still very young, so everything must have been horrible for her to go through. Fortunately, she has a wonderful brother. Emotional wounds are hard to heal, but nothing heals those wounds better than love from family members. I'm sure that one day, Satoko-chan will be able to smile again. She's still in shock, but when she talks to Satoshi-kun, she smiles a little bit. Oishi from the police department keeps requesting to see her, but I think I need to protect her for just a little longer. While he's passionate about his job, I wish he'd be a touch more sensitive. If he reminds her of her parents' accident, her emotional wounds will start to open again. That's the one point I worry about with Satoko-chan. I heard someone knocking on the door. It was Takano-san. It doesn't look right wearing a nurse's uniform like that. She's a licensed doctor, so she should wear a white coat and act like one. Maybe this is fun for her, but I think she might be insulting the real nurses. I didn't say anything, though. Dr. Irie, may I talk to you? Oh, yes. Well, Satoshi-kun, if you'll excuse me. Ah, sure. Hello, Satoshi-kun. Please keep Satoko-chan company. She's always alone, so I bet she's lonely. Okay?
Oh no, that's not true!
Okay, Satoshi-kun, you're in charge. I got up and let Satoshi-kun take over. Did something happen? Not right here. Let's go to your office. Takano-san smiled meaningfully. Usually, smiles bring happy feelings. But when it comes to Takano-san, that's rarely the case. Are you sure? Yes. The initial test result shows there's a possibility she's at level 3 or above, so this is going to be her detailed test result. We need to keep her here and run some more tests. The results aren't in yet, but from what I can see, it's very possible that she's at L4. Takano-san's eyes sparkled in a weird way. There's a reason for that. For us, finding patients in the terminal stage is a valuable boon to our research. In fact, as a result of dissecting the murder suspect from last year, yeah, I figured they did that, we've made great progress in our research. In other words, we finally managed to isolate the pathogen. We also discovered that when the host dies, the pathogen melts away within a few hours. Once that happens, it's undetectable. That's why we never found the pathogen when we performed autopsies. Our research made a lot of progress after that. What we found in this past year has easily surpassed what the late Dr. Takano found in decades. We're now studying the nature, the effect, and the symptoms of the pathogen, as well as treatments and vaccines. In other words, a living specimen who's at the terminal stage is a necessity for our research. However, we rarely find a patient who's gone that far, who's reached L5. Hinamizawa syndrome once created huge numbers of L5 patients, but today it doesn't have such potency. Because of that, we have to secure L5 patients, or patients who are close to reaching L5, as quickly as possible. Satoko-chan possibly qualifies to be that next sacrifice. To keep this strange disease a secret, we can't let patients who may be at L5 go. We have to run more tests first, then we'll figure out what to do next. In any case, Satoko-chan seems so calm. Her behavior is nothing like the man from last year. Initial tests are in error sometimes. We'll have to wait for the results of more detailed tests to determine how serious her condition is.
Okay. Let's admit her for observation. Please let the staff know to get things ready.
That sounds like a formal answer, but if the results come back positive, that will be the green light for her dissection. I don't know Satoko-chan that well, but I've known her brother, Satoshi-kun, through the baseball team for a long time. How could I dissect the apple of Satoshi-kun's eyes? I can feel scary images flashing in my head for the first time.
Don't worry. Everything is already taken care of.
She smiled as if telling me that the dissection is already being prepared for too. Is it just her who's smiling? Am I smiling like her too? When I dissected that man last year, I did feel guilt beforehand. But once I started, it was like I was in paradise. All the pieces of the puzzle that were left by the late Dr. Takano fell into place, and at the same time, they didn't. How exciting it was. Knowing that we are the first ones to take the first steps to solve a mystery, that is. I don't even know how to explain this feeling to those who have never experienced it. There's no way to describe it with words. The only thing I can say is that even a year later, I still remember it vividly. So if the results show that Satoshi-kun's beloved sister is to be dissected, can I control myself? Can I stay calm? But that means I'm a failure of a human being. I know very well that the Hojo family was treated poorly by the villagers, and I know what Satoko-chan had to go through. Also, I know Satoshi-kun loves his sister, who is his one and only blood relative. How can I dissect Satoko-chan using my research as an excuse? I didn't feel much guilt for the man from last year, but I feel unbearable guilt towards Satoko-chan. That means what I did last year was very sinful. I don't care if a stranger dies, but I don't want Satoko-chan to die. That's not right. All lives are equally precious. I tried to convince myself that he was a violent murderer, but maybe he only became that way because he was at the terminal stage. I don't know anything about him before he became deranged. Maybe he was a model citizen who was worthy of respect. Unfortunately, he became ill and ended up doing what he did. Maybe he was a victim himself, just like my father. I know more about Hinamizawa syndrome than anybody. This disease makes people act in bizarre ways, without those people realizing it. So when the people at the terminal stage do such strange and violent things, one should be sympathetic. I already knew that back when I decided to go down this path. I should have remembered it sooner, but I only did just now. I finally realized what sinful research I'm working on. Satoko Hojo's detailed test results came back. The results say L5. She's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage. It's actually a surprising result. In last year's case, the patient was extremely deranged. According to Takano-san's records, he complained about itching coming from the lymph nodes all over his body and wanted to claw at his throat, just as the late Dr. Takano mentioned. But Satoko-chan isn't displaying such symptoms. Even in the late Takano's data, throat clawing is said to be a characteristic symptom of terminal stage patients. However, not all patients experience that symptom. Besides, emotional expression is very different in each person. Even if it's the same emotion, one patient may express it rather violently, and another may express it calmly. There's no way of knowing by just looking at a person. But Satoko-chan's detailed test results says that she's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage, L5. In other words, she may be feeling what the man from last year was feeling. It's just that she isn't expressing that feeling in the same way the man was. Hinamizawa syndrome affects the frontal lobes of the brain. It stimulates the most primitive of emotions, doubt, very strongly. As a result, terminal patients are trapped in delusions and paranoia, and end up committing horrible crimes. Satoko-chan seems to show improvement when she's exchanging friendly words with Satoshi-kun. But there's a paranoia stirring inside her that may put her in a deranged state at any moment. I can't let her leave the clinic like this. However, if things go according to the manual, I will have to make a decision on her dissection. My decision will only be a formality. I can't actually refuse. Takano-san appears to be already working on the dissection schedule. That plan will then come to me. Would I feel the same way while dissecting Satoko-chan? Would I be able to experience that trance once again? No, the question is, can I fight the temptation? As I pretend to question myself, I'm letting Takano-san prepare things on her own. By doing so, am I passively agreeing to Satoko-chan's dissection? If possible, I want to save Satoko-chan. I don't want her to be a sacrifice for this research. I don't want to dissect her. Then what about the man from last year? Do I only care about the lives of the people I know? If I don't dissect her, do I let her live and leave the clinic? Do I simply wait for her to become deranged and commit a horrible crime? And then she'll end up here, just like the man from last year, and I'll end up dissecting her anyway. The man from last year was dissected alive, and kept that way for several months. With his skull left open, he wasn't allowed to die for several months. He was kept alive, just for our cruel experiments. I don't want to do that to her. I don't know what to do. Even debating and agonizing over it is leading toward consent to her dissection by elimination. Okay, well, for sure, Satoko's test result is in this one. I do not know if there would be a second one. I know that there were mentions of her dissection plan. Yeah, because that says discontinuation. It does not say the concept of it. But yeah, that should open a lot. Because there were a lot of ones about her, you know? I don't think that would count as a live specimen for research, right? Or would it? He did mention his decision, but I don't know if that would count as that. An L5 stage patient's dissection is required. Huh. Definitely not that. There's gotta be... Was there only one for her test result? No, so we should be able to do that. Suffering of a big brother. Which I will click on in a minute, but I just want to see if there's anything else. Like any other weird things? No. Okay, so... Number 13. Suffering of a big brother. Right, faster. Suffering of a big brother. Hyphen. A group of boys are playing baseball under the powerful sun. The sound of cicadas makes the heat stand out even more. But to those boys, it's just another kind of cheering from the crowds. Of course, they go through training exercises to build stamina. But the boys don't actually like such routine activities. What they look forward to the most is the free game after practice. The school in Hinamizawa is actually borrowed from the forestry service. The schoolyard is made of gravel, so it's not very appropriate for playing sports on. Compared to that, the grounds at the school in Okinomiya are properly maintained for athletic activities, so the kids grow even more energetic when they come here. Kids from Hinamizawa really don't care if the ground is made of gravel or not. The other instructor is watching the game, so I decided to go get some drinks for the team.
Coach, where are you going? I thought I'd go get some drinks for everyone. Do you mind helping me, Satoshi-kun? Oh, no. Not at all.
Satoshi-kun decided to come along with me. Sometimes kids don't like what grown-ups choose, so I'm glad he agreed to help. Satoshi-kun and I got in the car and headed to the grocery store nearby.
Manager? How's Satoko doing? Well, she's doing fine. Although it's an extremely slow process, her emotional wounds are healing. I think we should let her rest for a little longer.
It's natural for Satoshi-kun to be worried. Satoko-chan has been in the hospital for over 2 weeks. Of course, he doesn't know his sister has Hinamizawa syndrome. Not only that, she's almost at L5. She could become deranged at any moment. He believes she's depressed because of the shock of their parents' accident. He came to the clinic every day to cheer his sister up. But Satoko-chan has become emotionally unstable and was showing some dangerous symptoms, so we called off the clinic's visits. So that could mean that he's not allowed to visit anymore. In fact, Satoko-chan is not doing so well. L5, the stage Satoko-chan is at, is a very abnormal one. The man from last year, who was at the same stage, was acting so abnormal that even a drug addict in his final stages would have turned and ran. There's no guarantee Satoko-chan won't fall into the same condition. When we performed the autopsy on that man last year, we learned the true identity of the syndrome and gained a great understanding of its mechanisms. We even discovered some important facts that may lead to the development of a cure. However, we have yet to find a method of actually curing the disease. So if Satoko-chan becomes unrecoverable, we may have to dissect her, just like we did the man from last year. How can I tell Satoshi-kun about his sister's situation? All I can do is make vague comments and lie to him that she's recovering. What if she becomes much worse? That'd make me an unforgivable liar. The tiny bit of conscience that remains in me hurts.
If it's okay with your clinic, can she stay there a little longer? Why are you saying that?
I thought he wanted her to come home as soon as possible, so I'm a little surprised.
Well, actually, Satoko doesn't get along with our aunt. I heard she didn't get along with her parents, but she can't get along with your aunt and uncle either?
Satoko doesn't open up to grown-ups. Satoshi-kun has told me about their family background. Their mother's constant remarriages wounded her children deeply. Satoshi-kun was able to overcome it, but Satoko-chan was too young to be able to do that. That left her traumatized, and she now has the tendency to distrust or dislike guardians who aren't related to her. Actually, nobody would like a guardian who isn't related to them. It's not just Satoko-chan, but usually people try to deal with that even if they don't like it. I guess Satoko-chan's not capable of that.
Our uncle isn't home much.
Besides, even when he is, he's either sleeping or watching TV, so he's not the problem, so Teppei's just putzing around.
But our aunt really goes after Satoko. Why doesn't she like her? I can guess why. Satoko-chan's parents were dam proponents, and because of that, the villagers considered the aunt and uncle part of the Hojo family and ostracized them as such. Moreover, they passed away suddenly in an accident and left 2 children behind, so I guess there would be more hate than gratitude. If she had been obedient like Satoshi-kun, everything would have been fine. But Satoko-chan can't be that way. She knows that in her attitude and expressions, which leads to her and her aunt having a big fight. I've told my aunt about Satoko's situation, but she just can't understand. I think you're a great big brother, Satoshi-kun. You're the one and only relative Satoko-chan has left now. Right. I feel that way too. Satoshi-kun said with a slight hint of a sigh. He doesn't say it, but it seems Satoshi-kun has grown tired of having to cover for Satoko-chan every time she and her aunt fight. He's a good person, as well as a good big brother. So I'm sure he'll do anything to cover for his sister. But that's a very exhausting thing to keep doing forever. Satoshi-kun was already doing that when their parents were alive. And eventually, his mental equilibrium couldn't handle the strain. He grew sick, and he visited my clinic. I thought his circumstances might have improved after their initial cause, his parents, were gone. But it seems things were even worse than before. I understand. I can't release Satoko-chan if things are like that. Her symptoms may return again. Don't worry about the hospital fees. I'll make sure Satoko-chan truly recovers. While trying to pretend that I'm listening to his request, I feel a little disgusted at myself for making such selfish excuses. I'll make sure. Takano-san is working on her dissection plan as we speak. If that's possible, that'll help me too. What? I mean, if Satoko-chan stays in the clinic a little while longer, then I can relax as well. That's all. What do you mean? As soon as Satoko comes back, I know she'll get into fights with my aunt again. Then it's back to those days of constant fighting and screaming again. And I'll probably get dragged into it too. So if Satoko were hospitalized for a very long time, that would be the easiest on me. But when I think like that, I hate myself. Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun is a great big brother who always sticks up for his little sister. But that doesn't mean he doesn't feel burdened. To think things like that. What a terrible big brother I am. The more I think that way, the more I hate myself. Satoshi-kun said, sniffling once. His expression was one of anguish, as if truly feeling his own sin. His desire to be a model big brother is putting himself under greater pressure. I feel bad for Satoko-chan, but I also feel bad for Satoshi-kun in a different way. As someone who knows the both of them well, I feel that I must be their ally, since they don't have anyone else who cares about them. Huh, what would this one even be? Okay. So we're through 13 of the 50. These are taking forever. That's not a huge deal, though. I don't really mind. Okay, so if I go back to the beginning. Irie didn't make a decision there. There was no discontinuation. I still wonder if that's possible. Nothing about Rika, nothing about their aunt. No. Well, yeah, it could just be this. Satoshi... not able to visit. I'll just write. And put a question mark, because I'm unsure. There could be something else, though. Prior consent for the collection of cerebral spinal fluid. Bottle of wine. No. Shopping trip. Nothing about a part-time job or footsteps. No awareness of sins, or was there? They mentioned sins.
That's it. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of that he's not able to visit, which means this is the only one that would be able to work. Right? Nope! So it's not that again. I have no fucking idea where to go from here then. Load here. I want to do one more before ending the episode. If I go back to the first page, there is this. Okay. So we can do the first sacrifice, I guess. Sure. I don't know where the live specimen came from. Possibly the second sacrifice. But whatever, I have live specimen. I don't know how to spell specimen, but I don't care. I was half asleep, so I didn't even hear the phone ringing nearby. After a while, I finally realized the phone was ringing. And a ringing phone means there's some kind of emergency. It's 2 in the morning. Who would even call me at this time of night? Hello, this is Irie. I'm sorry to bother you, Dr. Irie. It's Takano-san. She's never called me for a personal reason. At the Institute, she's ranked just below me, so she's basically responsible for running it. So for her to call me this late at night, it must be an emergency. Sorry it took me so long. Is it true that we have another terminal patient? Another? Yes. I was hoping to find a living specimen, so this is perfect. I initially thought that she'd abducted someone. That's one of the same backgrounds they used in the orphanage. The man had already been moved to the research area in the clinic's basement. Having been tied down to the examination table, he's struggling against his restraints, but more as though he's deranged than actually resisting. I can't even understand what he's saying. He sounds angry, sorrowful, and like a child throwing a tantrum all at once. It's obvious that he's not in the right state of mind. Anyway, let's put him under anesthesia. He might kill himself otherwise. I wanted to observe him a little longer, but I guess I have no other choice. One of the staff with a white gown got the anesthesia ready. Even a normal person would struggle to escape a restraining table in this suspicious room. But this man's behavior is at an abnormal level. I'm sure Okanogi-san and his friends from the Mountain Dogs are the ones who captured him. Capturing a man in this state of mind couldn't have been an easy task. According to Takano, she ran into this patient on her way home from the clinic by accident. She brought him back here, tested him, and the result came back positive. Of course, I have no intention of just believing what she's telling me. But there is no question that this man is at the terminal stage, and a live specimen is exactly what we need to research the syndrome. Who is this man anyway? He had something wrapped in newspaper. What do you think was in it? Ugh, what is this? There's something wrapped in a bloody newspaper on a tray nearby. Looking at the blood-drenched paper, I can only imagine there was something gruesome inside of it. An arm. Yet Takano-san looked like she wanted to surprise me with something interesting. Oh, God, this is awful! It's a bloody right arm. The man on the table still has his. This right arm doesn't belong to him. So who does it belong to? I'm used to looking at things like this as a doctor, but the horrible cross-section makes me want to look away. It wasn't done according to a medically acceptable method, that's for sure. It was obviously done out of cruelty. Judging by the situation, we can assume this man cut off this arm. So he's the culprit behind the body dumping that's been occurring in the neighborhood? At that point, there was no way of knowing who the right arm belonged to. But the next morning, the dismemberment murder of the damn construction site director was reported, and they mentioned that his right arm was still missing, so we learned who the arm belonged to. This man has a criminal record and he's on probation.
Yet he committed another crime. I bet he dismantled the body in order to hide it. I'm sure it depends on the circumstances, but he'll get more than just a few years in prison. So you won't hesitate to dissect a scumbag like him, right? Who knows? Maybe he was a scumbag before and became violent due to the syndrome. Or maybe he had gone straight but became violent again due to the syndrome. The former is one thing, but if it's the latter case, it's not his fault. That's why Hinamizawa syndrome is so terrifying. We can't tell if the syndrome is the cause of the crime, or if it's simply a problem of a human nature. But what causes a defect of human nature in the first place? That was precisely Irie's area of research. Hate the crime, not the criminal. Can criminals only be corrected by punishing them with imprisonment? If a person commits a crime because of a mental disorder, but then gets treatment, he is corrected. In other words, there are no crimes in this world, only patients awaiting treatment without anyone else being able to understand them. In medieval times, patients with mental disorders were said to be possessed by demons. They were either confined or killed. Centuries after, they were finally acknowledged as mentally ill people who needed treatment. Perception can change with time. Even if they are called criminals now, maybe after several centuries, those criminals will be acknowledged as patients who are entitled to appropriate treatment. Explaining crimes through illness instead of malice. That's my life's work. Hinamizawa syndrome is a strange disease that can support my theory. Solving its mysteries is extremely important to me. To solve those mysteries, I need a medical sacrifice. It's an extremely sinful thing to do, but there's no way to unravel this without it. The Irie Institute was authorized to take such drastic measures if necessary. That's why I was asked about it so many times when I accepted the position of director. And finally, the opportunity is here. This will be the first step of our research on this strange disease. But even now, I'm a little hesitant. I've opened up human bodies in many surgeries. What I'll be doing on this man is something very similar, but there's also something that's very different. What I did before was part of treatment. I did it to save the patient's lives. I did it so the patients could have a better future. But what I'm trying to do here isn't treatment. He will die at the end of it. His death will be far from humane. I'm going to violate nature and force him to stay alive, while I open up his living brain. Director Irie, are you listening? Sorry. Could you repeat that? I believe it best that we submit the dissection proposal to Tokyo and request their assistance. He's not only alive, he's also in the terminal stage, so he's an extremely important specimen. We must conduct the dissection very carefully. That's true. You're right. Let's do as you say. I think we'll have a few days before the dissection, so I want to run some reaction tests once he's off the anesthetic. Do you think that's safe? Even if he's restrained, we don't know what will happen. We finally have the opportunity to test a live specimen. We can't only look into his brain. Takano-san's unusual cheerfulness made me feel odd. Maybe her reaction is normal. Maybe I am the one who's not reacting normally in this situation. I'm only here for the research. So I should be excited to have the opportunity to perform our first live dissection. But I'm still hesitant. How can I call myself a researcher? Researchers of the past were brave enough to cross the line, and that's how they accomplished many things. I've seen many brains. I've operated on them. I've lost some patients too. But I never thought anything of it, because I knew I did the right thing. Even when my hard work was denied afterwards. If it pained me to think of that, then I just needed to advance the field of medicine to ensure their deaths weren't wasted. That's the true form of those advancing the field of medicine. Yet, Why was my heart tormented so much just by changing the name from treatment to dissection? Does it mean I'm not man enough to emulate those great men of the past who opened the doors to new medicine? That I don't have the power to develop new advances myself? Hey, what's the matter, Director? Are you feeling okay? Takano is pretending to be concerned about me, but she knows. She knows I'm still hesitating. And she's telling me that I should be ashamed as a researcher for feeling that way. I shook my head to clear it of sleepiness. Remember the resolve that brought me here to this day. I already have blood on my hands. But if I stop now, their lives will be wasted. Those who shed their blood can only rest in peace once they've become the cornerstones of great research. I shook my head once more and reminded myself that I'm a researcher. No, I was just thinking. Takano-san, please make some arrangement with Tokyo, and let me know when it's done. Okay, understood. This is really exciting. The least I can do is my best, so his life won't be wasted. If he bleeds, I can't waste even a drop of his blood. After scolding my staff for their indiscretion of discussing the dissection with such excitement, I returned to my office. Okay. Interesting, interesting, interesting. You know, wait. No, damn construction operation withdrawal would not have been the live specimen, right? Because that one, I still don't know what it was. This one, it was around here somewhere. That one. I still don't remember. I still have no idea what this one was supposed to be. But, like, if it was live specimen, then it was live specimen. Like, that's all I fucking know. But regardless, that one was... Oh. Would that be L5 patient's dissection? Because he wasn't dissected yet, but the wording might just be off. Oh, wait! This is one that I'll be able to do. Okay, fuck. I'm stupid as shit. Somehow I didn't notice that one earlier. Okay, so that's definitely gotta be L5. Yeah. L5... patient dissection. Okay. So there we go. We're making decent progress, I think. We're through 14 of the 50. So I actually can't do that one, can I? So I guess that means the next one I'm gonna have to do is the old guy, which I could have done several ago, but whatever. Regardless, though, I guess we're going to end this episode here. Hopefully we'll be able to get another, like, 5 or 6 done next episode so that we don't spend so long on these fragments that it takes, like, 10 more episodes, but yeah. Regardless, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye! Yeah.